Let's now hear some of the key points from the victory speech delivered by Donald Trump at Republican campaign headquarters in Florida.
This was a movement like nobody's ever seen before. And frankly, this was, I believe, the greatest political movement of all time. There's never been anything like this in this country, and maybe beyond. They came from all corners, union, non-union, African American, Hispanic American, Asian American, Arab American, Muslim American. We had everybody, and it was beautiful. It was a historic realignment. We're going to help our country heal. We're going to help our country heal. We have a country that needs help, and it needs help very badly. We're going to fix our borders. We're going to fix everything about our country. And we made history for a reason tonight, and the reason is going to be just that. We're going to be paying down debt. We're going to be reducing taxes. We can do things that nobody else can do. Nobody else is going to be able to do it. China doesn't have what we have. Nobody has what we have. But we have the greatest people also. Maybe that's the most important thing. Many people have told me that God spared my life for a reason. And that reason was to save our country and to restore America to greatness.
Dr. Matthew Tapi is an assistant professor of political science at Pittsburgh State University. He's joining us live from Pittsburgh, Kansas. Professor Tapi, good to have you with us on this program, and thank you very much for making time for us. I'll just begin by asking you if you're surprised that Donald Trump has emerged victorious. But before you answer that, you did say that Trump possesses an advantage in being perceived as able to handle issues at the top of the agenda, which includes economy. Do you still believe that?
First of all, thank you for having me. Yeah, I think that, so 2 points here. One is that if you look at the polls in the swing states, the battleground states, going into the election, Trump had an advantage in the battleground states. So I think he outperformed that advantage. So, it's surprising how well he did. But I think the expectation was there's a good chance of Trump winning. As for the reasons why Trump was able to win, if you look at the public agenda in the United States, the issues that voters are concerned about, the top issue is inflation and the economy. And if you look at polls that ask voters, who do you think is better able to handle the issue of inflation? Trump was advantaged in that poll. So I think the fact that on the issue that voters care the most about, or the highest percentage of voters are concerned with, the fact that Trump was advantaged on that issue, I think is really important and helped Trump's performance in this election. But Trump was also advantaged on other issues like criminal justice issues, the immigration issue. And so even though Vice President Kamala Harris was advantaged on some issues as well, like healthcare and reproductive rights, those issues were, I think, not as important on the agenda, certainly as the inflation issue. So I think sort of on balance, Trump was advantaged by, the perception of his ability to handle the most salient issues facing the country.
Professor Tapi, where did the Democrats, or in this case, Vice President Kamala Harris, go wrong? Because we had seen this as a neck-and-neck race, but that was not the case today.
Well, I think, some of the battleground states still remain pretty close. The Electoral College victory, I think, will be fairly decisive. But I think that it's important to keep in mind that Vice President Harris is running under the Democratic party brand, and that brand is heavily influenced by the public perceptions of the sitting president. So we know that what voters think about the political parties is heavily influenced by their perception of the performance of the sitting presidents that are affiliated with that party. So unfortunately for Vice President Harris, President Joe Biden's approval rating is very low, and voters are very dissatisfied with the administration, which has a negative impact on people's perceptions of the Democratic Party. And since voters are ultimately going to had to guess what life would be like under a Harris administration, a lot of them use their sort of perception of the party as a sort of a best guess. And I think Vice President Harris, was able to improve on the Democrats' chances relative to President Joe Biden, but I think it was just very difficult to overcome, the situation that Vice President Harris inherited, which is an unpopular administration that she is associated with. She's the vice president, and she's running under the party label of the party that the sitting president is associated with. And I don't think she was able to distance herself enough from the administration in terms of substantive policies to convey to voters why a Harris administration would be better than a Biden administration in dealing with the issues that voters were concerned with.
Professor Tapi, finally and very briefly, we have seen congratulatory messages coming from around the world very fast after Donald Trump declared himself victor of the United States elections. Is the optimism justified, or is it too early to tell?
I guess it kind of depends on what outcome we're thinking about. I mean, it's certainly a good signal for the Trump administration. In the clips that you played, President Trump talked about healing the country, and the United States is a very divided country politically. So one can only hope that President Trump is able to accomplish that. But I think that the political incentives in the United States right now are incentivizing a lot of division among elites. So while one can only hope, I think that it will be difficult for President Trump to overcome that type of the political division that he's going to face. He's going to face a Democratic Party that is going to be setting their sights on the next presidential election to try to win back the White House, and I think that will come at the cost of probably a lack of willing to work with the Trump administration. But one can only hope that the administration is able to unify the country and improve on the outcomes that voters care about.
All right, we'll have to leave it there. I've been talking to Dr. Matthew Tapi. He's an assistant professor of political science at Pittsburgh State University in Pittsburgh. Thank you very much, Professor, for your time and for talking to us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.